Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie. I am so excited for this video because not only is it my first book video, but this week I will be attempting to read my screen time from last week. I've noticed that I've spent way too much time on my phone recently. Some of it's productive, but most of it's not. And I also can't sit down for as long as I used to and read. Like I keep getting distracted with my phone, so this should be a very interesting week. We'll see how many books I can read, if I can stay focused and off of my phone. I don't really have a plan of what books to read this week. There are a couple on my summer TBR I would love to get to, but I'm more of a mood reader, so I'm just gonna figure it out as I go. I'm so excited to see how many books I can read this week, so without further ado, let's get started. So today is Tuesday and I'm going to be doing this challenge for the next 5 days. Last week's screen time on Tuesday was 4 hours and 44 minutes. The book I'll be starting with today is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have heard so many good things about this book, and I've read a few of her other books before and I've really liked them. None of them 5 stars, but they're all like 4 stars for the most part, so I'm looking forward to this. And I feel like it's very fitting because it's about these 4 famous siblings and this end of summer party and all this stuff goes down. I think the timing of it's really good as it is the end of summer. Okay, I'll set my timer for 4 hours and 44 minutes. We'll see how much I can read today. I'll update you every so often and see how it's going. I am 2 hours in and I have read a little over 100 pages and I am loving Malibu Rising so far. Taylor Jenkins Reid is such a good writer. The setting is amazing, the characters are so interesting, and I'm really excited to see what happens throughout this day leading up to this party, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about the characters and their backstories. No! Oh my gosh. That's so sad. No. I knew that was gonna happen though. Oh, I had hope. That's so sad. I have just over an hour left to read today and I made it to page 188 so far, and I am loving this book. I didn't have super high expectations for it, as the other Taylor Jenkins Reid books I've read I've given around 4 stars, which are totally good books. Like 4 is a really good rating, but I just haven't really felt that 5-star feeling with her books. However, this one is shaping up to be a 5-star. I really like it. I hope it continues. It's really good so far and I've almost cried. Got a little teary. I don't really cry at books, but this one, it just hurts. I love the sibling dynamics in the setting and the time period. It's great. So I'm gonna continue reading for another hour and I will update y'all tomorrow about where I'm at. Good morning! I am seriously so excited to read today. I have about 100 pages left of Malibu Rising, so I will definitely finish this. and I'm going to start my new book, which I haven't decided on yet, but I might take a trip to the library today. Also, the weather, it said it was going to be cloudy all day today, but now it's saying that there's sun all day with a high of only 80. So I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna go read outside because it's not too hot yet and enjoy the sun as it's been pretty cloudy recently.
Then all the rest are quite old-fashioned, where I had sometimes played chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage love. I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore. And out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, you're whisking me.
I finished Malibu Rising and I have about 3 hours left. And I just wanted to tell you my thoughts about this book. For me, I don't think it's quite a 5-star. I'm gonna think about it, but I feel like it's more like a 4.5 and 4.75. It's like super close. I absolutely loved this book. I really enjoyed reading it. I especially love how it spans 24 hours, but then you get flashbacks and you learn about the history. You truly learn about so many characters, and it's not just surface level. Like, we really understand them. The sibling dynamic, like I mentioned earlier, obsessed. It was so well written. Nina is just incredible, and my heart aches for her. And the ending, it was just, I was really satisfied. For now, I do have about 3 more hours left to read today, so I'm going to stop by the library. I think they have a book that I've been wanting to read this summer, so I will catch up with you when I have the book. I just went on such a fun adventure to the library. I had actually never been to this branch of the library, but I really wanted to read The Bodyguard, and my local library didn't have it in, but the one a little bit further away did. And I had the best time exploring a new library. I took the back roads, beautiful day outside, and then I picked this up. What I know about The Bodyguard so far is that it is a clean, lighthearted romance where this girl gets hired to be the bodyguard for this famous actor. And then there's some fake dating involved, and then it goes from there. So I love the fake dating trope. I love clean books. I'm just so excited for a fun romance. I feel like it's going to be quite summery as well, and I've heard so many good things about this book, as well as Catherine Center's newest book, which I would love to pick up if I like this one. So we'll see how this goes. I have about 3 hours left on the timer, and I'm gonna get reading. I made it to page 110 in The Bodyguard so far, and I'm liking it. I'm definitely excited for the romance to pick up a little bit though. And to check in, I have 45 minutes left on the timer for today, but I am going out to dinner with my family, so I will have to read in the car and I'll update you on where I'm at tomorrow. Good morning, happy Thursday. Today is the day I will be reading the most in this challenge. Last Thursday, my screen time was 7 hours and 54 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read that much today, but I'm going to try my best. My goal is to read at least 5 hours, and then whatever else I read after that, that would be amazing. Last Thursday, I did spend 3 hours downloading videos and then putting them into my 1 second a day app. I've been super behind this year, so it was a long process, and that contributed to an extra 3 hours of my screen time last Thursday. Yesterday, I read to page 168 in The Bodyguard. It's super fun. I'm laughing out loud, and I'm excited to finish it today. I'm not sure what I'll read after this. I have a few books in mind, so I'll have to decide later. I know I will not be reading Hello Stranger by Catherine Center because my library does have a wait list. So that's a bummer if I like this book, but I'll just have to read it soon. I better get started on today's reading because I have a lot to read today.
And out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, your whisking neat. The lights were dimmed as our eyes met and you saw me. And forevermore, I like to share that vivid dream.
I just hit 6 hours left and I have 30 pages left of The Bodyguard. A big plot twist just happened and I am on the edge of my seat just trying to finish this book, to figure out what happened. One moment I was super happy and the next I was really upset. Truly a whirlwind of emotions. I just want to finish this book so bad, but at the same time I don't want it to end, and it's almost over, which I cannot believe.
You came through the door, at the next table, your whisking neat. The lights were dimmed as our eyes met and you saw me.
I finished The Bodyguard. This was such a sweet book. I really enjoyed it. I loved the occupations that the main characters had. They were definitely, Hannah's was definitely like unconventional, so it was interesting to learn about that. I loved the time on the ranch. I especially loved Jack's parents. All the sweet moments there. I am probably gonna give this 4.5 stars. I'm not too sure yet. I'll have to sit on it and see. But yeah, this book was really good and I recommend it for sure. Catherine Center said in her author's note that this book did soul-nourishing things to her and she hopes that it did the same to her readers, and I totally agree with that. There were so many moments in the book that just felt like a breath of fresh air. I have a little over 5 hours left on the timer for today and it says I'll be done at around 8 o'clock, which is kind of late for me considering I work at 5 a.m. so I like to try to be asleep around 9. So I am not too hopeful about this at all. 5 hours is still a long time to read. But like I said, I'll be super happy if I read 5 hours. I've already read around 3 today, so pretty good. The next book I'll be reading is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This book has been on my physical TBR for a little bit and I'm trying to get stuff read off of that. And I've just been really curious about this book in general. I've heard very mixed reviews about it. It has been a little bit hyped up and I'm definitely nervous because people have said that it's kind of slow until you get to the ending, and you do find out the ending in the beginning, but then people are still shocked at the end. I'm definitely nervous for this one because people do say that it is quite sad, and I don't really typically read sad books. I feel like it's going to be very different than The Bodyguard. So 2 very different books back to back. I'm interested to see how this goes and to find out if it's worth the hype, or if I agree with people that really like this book, or if I agree with people that don't like this book. I'm going to make myself a smoothie and then move downstairs because it is kind of getting warm up here. I just got home from work, so now I'm gonna do some reading. Last night I made it to page 202 of If He Had Been With Me, and y'all, I can't believe I did it. I read for the whole time yesterday, 7 hours and 54 minutes. Granted, I didn't read super fast towards the end of the day. My family was home, so I was kind of distracted with them. So it did take me 5 hours to read this much. But I'm hoping I can fly through the rest today. Today I'm reading 5 hours and 56 minutes, so it's another longer day. I know it's going to be a little bit of a challenge as my family gets home a little bit earlier. So far I am really enjoying If He Had Been With Me. Personally, I am a huge fan of coming of age stories, and All the Right Places is one of my favorite books. I'm really not sure why I like it so much. It is very similar to this, being that it is sad and coming of age and high school, so I feel like I'm getting kind of the same vibes, but at the same time they're completely different stories, and I'm liking this. It is a little bit slow and repetitive like people said, and I'm a little bit worried as I get to the 200 and 300 page marks because it doesn't pick up apparently until like the end. So I'm gonna have to see like how slow it is. Right now they're in junior year of high school, and I know we're gonna get through high school and hear everything that's happening. So it's been really fun to experience Autumn's life and Finn's life growing up together. I think that Laura Nolan does a good job at representing what really happens in middle school and high school. At least for what I experienced, it's definitely relatable. So I'm enjoying this, but I'm a little bit nervous. So let's go read this book. I have a little over 4 hours left on the timer today, and I have about 55 pages left of If He Had Been With Me. I'm getting really nervous as we get closer to the ending. I really want to finish this book, however, I'm about to go hammocking with my sister, and that will take a couple of hours. I was planning on reading there, but I don't want to finish a book when I'm out there, especially this one, because I want to get my reaction of the ending. So I'm thinking about just picking up another book for now, and then when I come back from hammocking, I'll finish this book, film my reaction. I hate doing that because I'm so close to the end, but at the same time, the timing just worked out that way, and I'm gonna have to read another book for now. So I'm thinking of picking up Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This has been on my physical TBR for a little while. I read When in Rome back in January of this year. Loved it. I love this setting, small town, and you have a famous celebrity falling for like a normal guy. Practice Makes Perfect is technically a standalone, but it's better if you read When in Rome first. That way you get introduced to the setting of Rome, Kentucky. You get introduced to Annie, who is Noah's sister. So in this one, it seems like Will, the bodyguard for Ray Rose, the pop star in When in Rome, helps Annie find a guy, or like gets educated on how to date and everything, because she's having a really hard time finding a guy in this small town. I haven't heard the best things about this book. Very okay feelings. People tend to love When in Rome and then they're disappointed by this. The most criticism I've heard about Practice Makes Perfect is that Sarah Adams has always been an author you can go to if you want a clean, closed-door romance. However, in this one, she tries to create like a little bit of steamy scenes. It does say on the back, amid steamy practice dates, which is very scary because when I picked this up, I didn't think there'd be anything really, because I had heard Sarah Adams was a good author for clean books, and this one was clean. So I'm nervous primarily because people just said it wasn't very well written and it felt kind of forced. So I'm very nervous to read this because they're not like hating this book, but they're giving it like 3-4 stars instead of like a 5. I didn't give When in Rome 5 stars, but it was more like 4.5. So I'm hoping that this will be good and I'll enjoy this, but I am definitely nervous. However, I really want to read it off my physical TBR, trying to read as much as I can, and I think this would be a good little palate cleanser, I guess, after I read If He Had Been With Me. If the ending is indeed as sad as people say it is. My sister is almost home, so I gotta go hammocking with her, and then I'll update you when I get back. I finished If He Had Been With Me, and I gave myself like 20 minutes to really sit on it and think about it. I watched a couple of reading vlogs to see how other people were affected by the ending and what they thought about it. I have thoughts about this book. For one, I am not one to cry at books or movies. Typically, I only cry when like a dog dies. I know that sounds so bad. There was a point towards the end where I did feel like I could have cried. However, I feel like there's not really an opportunity to really cry at the end because everything happens so suddenly and all of a sudden it's done. I didn't really get to build up any like real sadness. That's just like my take on things. Overall, it was such a good coming of age book. It was a really good story about how real life is. It's not one of those like fake fluffy romance books where everything ends up perfect. Sometimes life hits really, really hard and things happen so suddenly. You think everything is going to go incredible and then boom, life happens. And that is just how this book is. And I appreciated that. It's definitely a unique book. I don't read books like this all the time. It was good. It was good to read. And I really enjoyed the realness and the growth, I guess, that happened in these characters, but it didn't happen until the end. Like, Autumn just feels like the same person for years and years, and of course, it's gonna be like that as she keeps the same people around her. It was slow for that reason, like, not much was changing, and then all of a sudden, things are going well, and then boom, they don't. Finn is the perfect boy next door. He is so sweet. He does not deserve what happens to him. This book definitely gets like a 3.75 or 4 from me. It's a really good book, really good read. I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm gonna be thinking about it. This book is definitely similar in themes to All the Right Places, and that is one of my favorite books. I really don't know why. I just love coming of age stories, and If You Had Been With Me was a really good one. This book. There's so much to say. There's so much to say. I still have an hour and 37 minutes left on the timer for today, and now that I finished If You Had Been With Me, I need to pick Practice Makes Perfect back up. That just is the complete opposite book. I am 40 pages in, so I have had a good introduction. It is so much different than The Bodyguard because it dives straight into the romance, and The Bodyguard definitely took a longer time to build that up. And we aren't like in the romance yet, but you can definitely sense that things are going to happen a lot quicker. This is going to be such an interesting book to follow up If You Had Been With Me, but it will be good. And I could really use a fluffy romance right now, so I'm going to get back into reading and finish out my reading for the day. I guess I'll update y'all tomorrow on where I'm at with Practice Makes Perfect. I know tomorrow's going to be a shorter day, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to finish it in this video. We will see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow is Saturday and I will be busier that day. I'm helping my dad move a bunch of drywall, and then I have a car appointment. So I will try to read in between that. I might read at my car appointment, but I will get it done and I will see y'all tomorrow. It is Tuesday, so a few days after the challenge ended, I was able to read the full 2 hours and 25 minutes on Saturday, but I did not film anything because I was so busy helping my family load drywall, and then afterwards there just was not a good time to film. I did finish Practice Makes Perfect on Sunday, and I'm sad to report that I am disappointed in this book. As someone with social anxiety, I was excited to read this book because Annie has social anxiety, and Will, the bodyguard for Ray Rose, helps Annie learn how to date. I was excited for Will to help Annie learn how to have first date conversations and all of that stuff that comes with dating. However, it definitely focused on the physical aspect, and that is not something I loved about this book or was really prepared for. And I definitely understand that some people could love this book, but I just feel like it focused way too much on the physical, and I was just not excited about it. I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't really feel the chemistry between Will and Annie that much. I didn't even get any butterflies. I was debating between 2.5 and 3 stars, but I think I'm going to stick with 3 just because I understand how people would like this book. I still love the writing and the setting. I really enjoyed seeing Noah and Amelia throughout this book, and then you get to experience more of the relationship between Annie and her sisters. Overall, it was an okay book. I'm not a huge fan, but it was still enjoyable to read. With that being said, I am going to wrap up this video, but before I do, I want to go over what I read throughout this challenge. In this challenge, I read for 5 days and I finished 4 books. For Malibu Rising, I rated it 4.75 stars. Almost 5, but not quite a 5-star for me. I highly recommend this book. It was really good. For The Bodyguard, I rated it 4.5 stars. Really good, wholesome, clean, happy romance. Definitely recommend this one. Next, I read If He Had Been With Me. This one I rated 4 stars. Nothing super incredible, but at the same time, it was a really interesting read and different than other things that I've read. I'll be thinking about this one for a long time. The last book I read was Practice Makes Perfect, which I gave 3 stars. Unfortunately, it was the lowest rated book of the video. I think it's interesting how I started the challenge with a 4.75 and then 4.5, 4, and 3. Did start off better than it ended, but at the same time, all the books that I read, I enjoyed reading. None of them I did not like. So I think this was a very successful challenge. In total, I read 26 hours, which is kind of crazy. That's a whole part-time job right there. I absolutely loved spending my days reading, but this is not sustainable as I have lots of other things to be working on. But I was spending my screen time reading, so it was really good to see how much time I actually spend on my phone and that I could be spending it doing other things like reading. This challenge was so much fun, and I hope that y'all had a fun time watching. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please click the like button and consider subscribing as there will be more book videos to come.